Diddy's career could be done for good. After 50 Cent released those prison tapes, the internet completely exploded. Fans immediately wondered what else 50 was holding back. Then, while discussing his Netflix docuseries, Sean Combs' The Reckoning, 50 made it clear this was just the start. He hinted that more tapes are coming, and what we've seen so far might only be the beginning. The drama is far from finished.
Other stuff that you just have not shown?
Yeah, well, everything couldn't make the, it was 4 episodes.
Right.
So it was a lot, you had to pick and choose things, like even in an area where he chooses to date people who he knows previously dated someone.
50 Cent is once again shaking the internet. He recently hinted at releasing more day tapes, possibly straight to YouTube, where anyone can watch them. But the biggest shock since his interview is a new exposure. Claims that Diddy attempted to intimidate and influence a juror. This revelation has sent social media into a frenzy, and the details are now coming out.
Diddy was recording because he thought he was about to beat the case. So he wanted to do a Netflix documentary. Didn't pay the guy, and then 50 got all 140 hours of footage of secret Diddy tactics. Well, there's a guy named Neil who was mentioned in the court, works right up under Diddy, was organizing everything. Allegedly, they are saying that he is on video.
I, in this video, said one specific name, and it was Neil, and it automatically made me think of Neil Dominique. Everything that we just covered the other day that came out from Diddy's former chef, Jordan, who was going to be a witness testifying against Diddy in the criminal trial.
Things took a crazy turn when 50 Cent admitted it himself. After the rumors started spreading, he revealed he has 140 hours of footage. He even posted online saying, "Yes, I have the footage, LOL," and that alone shocked everyone. But it gets even deeper. 50 has now explained why he chose to come at Diddy so aggressively. And once fans heard his side, the story suddenly felt much bigger than anyone expected.
Just telling us as clear as I don't have any reserve, like the fear that they would actually have towards him. I don't think he's special.
Interestingly, several people who declined past documentaries have now agreed to speak out. They say they trusted 50 Cent and finally felt safe enough to talk. Fear no longer controlled them, and their decision to come forward could change the entire story.
When this docuseries that wasn't in the previous docs that you saw, because they said, no, I'm gonna do that one, because 50, that's gonna be the big one. Because I'm not scared of none of that. Like I think it's just the way I was brought up. I don't really register those things. I've been through way more extreme things than these people.
One of the most powerful moments was getting footage from Diddy's final days before his arrest and indictment. Seeing that raw material for the first time was shocking and explosive. According to 50, the footage revealed a side of Diddy the public was never meant to see, and it only made the situation feel more real and more dangerous.
It's really fascinating.
A journalist would ask that, but a journalist would also say, I'm gonna keep my sources secure, but but I got it. They can blame it on me that it's that. I think he's gonna actually like the project. He's gonna see that it was done fair, the perspective. Because he's gonna see too many people or he'll be consumed by what his personal experience was with each individual that's saying things about him because he lived these things. She's gonna understand it. You can interview her following that and I'll do the interview with her. I'll make sure I put it together. Yeah, because I had communications with her to understand it. What's going on, and even though she's not in the docuseries, it was important I spoke to her to understand how things transpired. The husband, I spoke to him away from her, separate individual communications.
50 Cent returned to the spotlight with his favorite weapon, proof, receipts. He joked that if you're not dropping a documentary about your enemy, you're not on his level. For years, 50 quietly gathered information on Diddy, waiting for the right moment. Now, Diddy is behind bars, yelling at his lawyers, unable to stop the documentary's release. His legal team even called it illegal and pressured Netflix to remove it. Still, one major story was left out. The death of Diddy's former bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones. Gene Deal recently criticized the documentary for skipping it, claiming Wolf's death and the East Coast-West Coast tension have been misunderstood. He insists Wolf warned Diddy and others he wouldn't move without proper protection.
Me up. He's like, yo, Gene, you and Wolf, I got y'all tickets to LA. I said, all right, cool. So I go down there and I pick up the tickets to LA. I got Wolf ticket. So I'm calling Wolf up. I say, yo, Wolf, I got your ticket to go to LA. And Wolf said, I ain't going. I said, what you mean you ain't going? He said, yo, Gene, I ain't gonna tell you how I'm making I ain't gonna tell you how to make your money, but I'm gonna let you know this. I told Puff them if they wasn't gonna take 2 tour buses of my niggas out there with us, I'm not going. Wolf is the head of all the functions that has to do with Puff dealing with security. I have my own contract with Puff, yeah.
The story turns tragic when it comes to Wolf. He reportedly lost his life while protecting Puff and managing serious security matters. Gene pointed out that this shocking detail was completely ignored in the documentary. Even more surprising, Wolf's connection to BMF was never mentioned. Gene says leaving out this part hides a major piece of the truth. Viewers deserve to know.
Wolf did not and was not going anywhere that had to do with California. And it wasn't because of the Jake situation. It was that he wanted to be safe, and the only way he felt safe if he was going out there with the dudes from his clique. And that was the Valley Mob.
Gene says Wolf's death was not just an accident or a side story. He believes it was directly tied to industry power and major decisions behind the scenes, and the documentary didn't focus on it enough. Meanwhile, Diddy and his family are allegedly preparing a $1 billion defamation lawsuit. But 50 Cent warned that suing means proving the documentary is false, which could backfire badly. Money is also becoming a serious issue. Legal battles are expensive. And without new income, Diddy's lifestyle may not survive. The biggest shock: reports say Diddy secretly recorded private conversations with his own lawyer, Mark Agnello, completely breaking trust and legal privilege.
Garagos, who is my co-host on Two Angry Men, he's represented Diddy for years, and his daughter is part of the Agnello defense team, and he was involved in all of this. So in this past weekend's podcast, I pushed him to find out how Agnello really feels here, and Mark kind of skirted it some, but I think you get the sense. Diddy knew that Mark was being recorded, but Diddy didn't tell Mark. Does Mark feel betrayed by Diddy?
I've not talked to Mark about it.
What do you think?
Would feel.
What do you think?
I will tell you I'll just tell you, if it was me, I would be more than a little upset. I was more than a little upset when the client didn't know and I was being recorded. I mean, there was a while there where I was meeting clients under bridges, freeway bridges, because I was PTSD over it. So I think, as a lawyer, it is one of the most inviolate oaths that you take to protect the client confidentiality and the client privilege. So I don't know, I haven't talked to Mark, but if I were Mark, I would be out of my head.
Since Diddy made that careless move, explosive truths about his criminal behavior haven't stopped coming out. The documentary includes clips of him casually posing for photos on the street, mostly with men who approach him. In one scene, he even jokes about needing to clean himself after giving out countless hugs. Another clip shows Diddy talking about hiring an editor to push positive footage of Dawn Richard, despite the fact that she later accused him of sexual assault. Abuse, unfair pay, and harsh working conditions. Knowing her claims, watching Diddy attempt to flip the story is deeply unsettling and hard to ignore.
But she went to Diddy's home in order to record. He said her and Cassie were downstairs when they heard Diddy yelling and coming down saying, "Where the F are my eggs?" He said Diddy grabbed the skillet full of eggs and tried to hit Cassie on the head, and she went down in a fetal position. Was punching and kicking Cassie before he put his arm around her neck. Diddy then grabbed her by the hair and dragged her up the stairs, and she was in shock. He said she was so in shock she did not intervene, nor did she call the police. Next day, she said Diddy locked her and another person in the recording studio and threatened them.
And she's saying that she witnessed a gangbang, which actually we know it as called a train. And she worked on the album, The Train to Paris. And like I heard one of the YouTube, it could be Tistel, say that we didn't know what the train to Paris meant. But now we know that the train of Paris was a train in Scotland.
The documentary includes shocking audio from a 2008 proffer interview with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who is now awaiting trial linked to Tupac Shakur's 1996 murder. A proffer deal lets someone talk freely to authorities without full legal immunity. In this series, Davis claims that Diddy allegedly offered $1 million to have Tupac killed. It's one of the most disturbing allegations ever connected to the case, and it's sending shockwaves through the industry.
Said that, like, in retrospect, that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to Puffy. By Zip stealing the money, now Puffy isn't connected to that shit. Or else it would have been like a murder for hire or something, you know what I'm saying?
The FBI said Zip.
So the FBI told you the
They said he
same
was
thing.
a dirty motherfucker, yeah.
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well.
They said Zip's a dirty motherfucker. Everybody crossed you. You're the last one to know every fucking thing. Even lawyers, your friends, everybody.
Is this proof that Diddy is guilty? Not exactly. One interview or statement can't prove anything on its own. But when you connect it with other evidence and hear the alleged perpetrator's own words, the story starts to take shape, and it's a lot harder to ignore.
Lost your empire because of Puffy. Why you say that?
I did. Shit. If I wouldn't have never met him, I wouldn't have never been involved in this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If I would have never met the brother, I wouldn't have never been involved in this bullshit. Really. Because me and Suge was playing on the same Pop Warner team and everything. My homeboys helped put Suge in the game and all that shit, you know? And it really crashed two people's empire that fucking one night. You know what I'm saying? Mine's for sure. Suge's too.
The doc goes further, exploring Diddy's early life, his bond with his mother, and his past relationships, some shadowed by abuse. It gives viewers a glimpse into his mindset and the drive that pushed him to climb the music industry ladder. Fans will see sides of Diddy rarely revealed before.
Man who grew up with street-funded privilege. After his father passed away, it's very clear that his mother kept on hustling and kept hanging around hustlers. Tim Dog has described the parties in the house: pimps, hoes, hustlers, models, basketball players. You got that kind of crowd. There's got to be a drug dealer or so there.
All the evidence now points to a clear pattern. Diddy constantly involved himself in risky, legally dangerous, and emotionally charged situations, yet managed to escape serious consequences. Taken as a whole, it paints him as a deeply troubled and harmful figure, someone who willingly perpetuated cycles of trauma, leaving innocent people caught in the fallout.